Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I just want to start by saying that weddings are hard. Being a wedding guest is hard because you're dealing with a lot of constraints, like so many more constraints that you don't have to think about when you're just going to any other kind of formal event. So what I mean by that is, and again, like to each their own, you all know you can wear whatever you want. We're all adults here, hopefully. But I don't know. I just think there's like all of these rules. For example, don't wear white, don't wear lace, don't wear anything that's like a little bit too close to white, don't wear black. Like, I also have personal rules. Like, for example, I don't love the idea of wearing like a cherry red to a wedding, like a bright, bright red. I also wouldn't feel comfortable going for like something that's too close to white. There's just so many things to think about when it comes to weddings. So all of the stuff that I'm going to show you, because this is my channel, because I'm the one creating these edits, I'm just going to give you a little bit of context as to how I came up with these choices. So for me, I don't go to formal events that often. I don't even go to weddings that often, to be honest. So if I'm going to invest, which a lot of these, most of these, if not all of these dresses are investments in a formal dress like this, I want something that's going to be versatile. I want something that is going to be comfortable. I don't want to feel like too sexy. I don't want, because this just isn't how I dress anyway. I dress more modern and kind of more classic and like things more oversized. And so it would just be weird for me to wear like a bright red, overly sexy dress as like my wedding guest dress, if that makes any sense. So again, to each their own, but for me personally, I wanted to pick out dresses for you all that I think are elegant, that I think are appropriate for maybe a lot of different types of events, not just weddings, because let's be honest, like, again, if we're going to invest in a formal dress, wouldn't it be nice to wear something maybe to other things like a gala or a really beautiful holiday party or something? Like, I don't know. I want to get a lot of good wear out of stuff. I want things to be my style, which sounds a little bit like a mixed message. Like, I want things to be my style in the sense that I want to feel like myself. But I do think with a wedding or a formal event, it's kind of fun to lean in a little bit to the fact that, you know, you're celebrating love and romance and like it's a party. And so, you know, it is fun to wear fun things. And so you will see things that maybe I wouldn't normally wear on a regular basis, like architectural bows or stuff. Like, I'm going to show you some dresses from Bernadette that I think are really, really cool that I wouldn't normally wear. So did just want to call that out. The other thing I probably is obvious, but I want to make obvious here is that also to each their own. Like, the types of dresses that I want to wear that I think are flattering for my body type could be very different for other body types. And so a lot of these dresses I'm thinking about myself, I am obviously trying to pull in things that I think would look that others would like. So for example, I would never wear strapless, but I'm going to share some strapless dresses with you all that I think are cool just because, like, I don't want to just show you non-strapless dresses because I understand that strapless is a very popular style. So I'm going to kind of try to balance that out. but yeah. The other thing I do want to call out culturally with weddings that is very different and should, I think, impact how you're dressing is you're meeting a sort of hodgepodge of individuals. It's not like you're just going to a gala or an event where everyone's like the same age and maybe comes from the same socioeconomic backgrounds. You could be meeting people's grandparents, their parents, their children, and that all comes back to the whole, like, I want to look appropriate. I want to feel very comfortable. If anything, I want to be overdressed in a situation like that because I want to put my best foot forward because I'm meeting a whole smorgasbord of people. The last thing I would want to do is embarrass the bride, my friend, or the groom, my friend. So you're representing yourself, but I would say put your best foot forward from like a class perspective. And I don't mean money or anything. I just mean like a look put together, look like you respect yourself. Like, a wedding is not a place to try to like pick up a man by dressing sexy. I mean, maybe it is, but I just don't think, like, because you could be chatting it up with grandma at table 7 the whole time. I just think it's better to underplay it a little bit. Underplay the sex appeal overplay the conservativeness, overplay the dressiness. That is personally what I would do when it comes to wedding dresses. Okay, I think I've rambled on enough about my philosophy when it comes to getting dressed for a wedding, but I did just want to set that context because I do think these are very, very important things to think about that you don't normally think about when you're searching for just like general, beautiful event wear. So I have gathered together a wide variety of brands and I'm going to talk through each of them and yeah, we'll just get right into it. There will be a wide range of price points as well. I will call out all the prices and yeah, let's do this. So in my last video, my last wedding video, I should say, I went from showing kind of the more expensive items to the least expensive. So I'm going to do you guys a favor and I'm going to do the opposite in this video where I'm going to share some of the less expensive brands, and then we're going to work our way up into the more expensive brands. So I'm going to start with the brand Reformation, which I think is not a brand that I shop from often because they're a lot of dresses, a lot of like feminine two-piece sets and stuff, but I do think they have really great dresses for weddings. They have a lot of stuff is the only thing I will say. So first of all, you're welcome because I've combed through their whole website and these are the dresses that I suggest. I also want to call out something too where I originally created a list and then I had to kind of go back and edit because they have a lot of like very stereotypical wedding dresses that are silk dresses. And in full disclosure, I have not tried on any of these dresses. God knows how long this video would be if I did like full-blown modeling and like talking through stuff like I do in a lot of my other videos. But I wanted to call out that for their 100% silk dresses, for example, this is the A.L.C silk dress. I think it looks so beautiful. It checks all the boxes. Like I love it in this forest green. It's, you know, still a little sexy with the low back, but it's got a high neck. It goes to the floor. I think it's very appropriate for a lot of different types of weddings. However, even though there's a little bit of ruching on the stomach, I just don't. Silk dresses are like really hard for the average person to pull off. They really can show if they're not really high quality, which again, I haven't tried these dresses on, so I'm not sure what they would look like in person, but it's very, very hard for like thin, fit people to wear dresses like this because we're women and we have bodies and we have lumps and bumps, even if you're skinny. And so I don't know. I think a lot of this stuff like looks great in theory. So for example, this dress from Reformation, this is the Genie silk dress. I also think it's very hard to wear bras with these kind of dresses. So they look great on these models, but like, I don't know. I really just don't think I could recommend. I love that they're 100% silk again, and I love the high neck and I love the navy. I think navy is such a chic color that looks great in the spring, looks great in the winter. So I really like this dress. I'm just not necessarily recommending it because I just don't know at the end of the day how comfortable and how great this would actually look on the average person, to be honest. So want to call that out. This dress from Reformation is the Maven dress, and I do think this would be flattering on a lot of different body types. I love how ladylike this dress is. I love the little cap sleeve. I love that it's a high neck, but I love that it comes in at the waist, but then it has a nice kind of skirt that poofs out a little bit. And you're going to see a common theme here. So a lot of my favorite colors that I think are great for weddings are green, navy, brown. I love a brown because, hey, we're not allowed to wear black, so like brown it is. Brown, again, I think brown looks good in the spring or summer or the fall. It's not like a burgundy where I think it might look a little bit weird this time of year. So I do think this dress is great. This is $278. It is 100% viscose. So I think something like this is very flattering, especially if the wedding isn't super formal or it's during the day. I love this like midi dress length because you don't have to worry about it being too short. It's very ladylike. You could wear it with a pair of beautiful pumps, but yeah, I think this dress is great in the color mole. This is another dress I would recommend. I think this dress would be a lot more flattering personally than the 100% silk dress that I showed you at the beginning. Again, I love a navy for a wedding. I think it's a little conservative, but it's still a little easier on the complexion, of course, depending on your hair color, your skin color. But in general, I think navy is a really nice option. It's very calming. This one does have quite a high slit, but I think you can get away with it given the high neck as well as the coverage that you have in the back, and it goes all the way down to the floor. I love that this dress also comes in a really gorgeous forest green. I think this color is beautiful as well. This dress is also 100% viscose, but I think it's nice. I also love how they have a little bit of ruching around the stomach. And I love that you could wear like a regular bra with this dress. I just think it would be a lot more flattering and a lot more comfortable for like the majority of people. Now, this dress is silk. This is so I've shared two versions of this, which I really love. They make it in a petite version and then a regular version. This is the Orin silk dress. The petite version is $328 and they have it in this light blue color. But again, I love that dark, rich navy color because I think it's appropriate to wear during the day or at nighttime. You're just going to get a lot more versatility, I think, with something like this. It is strapless, but I love that it comes with like the cute little scarf, which you could include or you could ditch it if that's like too much for you. And you could even throw on a nice cashmere wrap or like a little cardigan if it gets cold at night. I just think that's a very elegant look. And the reason I think this silk would be okay is because the cut is not super close to the body. It's almost, yeah, it just gives you a little more room in like the waist and the hip area. So I think this is a very elegant dress and it is 100% silk, which is great as well. So I think this would be such a beautiful, beautiful, classy wedding option. And then they make a non-petite version in a bunch of different colors. However, the color, again, I would recommend would be the navy. The non-petite version is the same price as well, $328. And then the final dress from Reformation that I was really into was this kind of like 90s dress. This one is not silk, although it kind of looks like it. They call it a satin dress. So again, I think hopefully this would be a little bit more forgiving in terms of not showing like every little lump and bump. I also love that I think you could probably get away with wearing a bra with this because it does have straps. And I love this like 90s aesthetic to it. It comes in that brown color mole, which I think is nice. Again, if you're not as comfortable wearing color like I am, you can get away with wearing more of a neutral. And it also comes in this very pretty slate kind of blue color, which I think is another great neutral and another great way to play with color. So I think this is a really, really pretty dress as well. It's made out of an acetate. It says 88% acetate and then 12% polyester. So did just want to call that out. But in general, I think Reformation is nice because there's a lot of options. So depending on your body type, like you're definitely probably going to find something there that works for you. And I do like that they're like more responsible when it comes to their production. And I think the price point is also very doable. Yes, some of their dresses can get more expensive up into like the $500 range, but most of their dresses play within like the $300 range, which if you're getting something in like a navy or something that isn't just specific to a certain season, then I actually think that's probably a good investment because you could wear it over and over and over again to like multiple weddings that you go to. Now, the next little group of dresses is playing in a similar price point as Reformation, so anywhere from $300 to $500. And this is the Australian brand called Shona Joy that I talked about in my wedding dress video. I will say I think they actually had more options for like minimal, lower priced wedding dresses and or bridesmaids dresses than like wedding guest dresses. I was a little surprised because I thought like, oh my God, they have so many options for amazing wedding dresses that I just thought they would have similar variety for guests, but they kept doing things like having pattern or it being like red or like, again, just stuff that was like breaking my rules. And so I didn't find quite as many, but I still think I have good options for you. This is the Shea draped shirt maxi dress in a gorgeous navy blue color. It also comes in a chocolate and a pale green. I think all of these are fantastic options, again, because they're not black, they're not white, they're not patterned. And I loved that this was a shirt dress. And I loved that this is kind of a satiny shirt dress. Spoiler alert. So this is 38% Lensing Eco Vero 60. Okay, whatever. The whole thing's viscose basically. But I felt like even though this was kind of a silky material, I love the ruching. I love the fact that it comes in at the waist, but that you have a lot of ruching kind of covering the belly. I love that it has coverage on the arms. Believe it or not, that's kind of hard to find. So if you are a little more self-conscious with your arms, you still have kind of a sexy leg slit, but then you have this really cute kind of shirt dress type top. This one reminded me a lot of a dress that I'm going to show you from A.L.C. that was around $600. So if you see that dress and you like it, this is a nice kind of lower price point option. But I thought something with sleeves is a great thing because that I did not come across in my searches. Now, the next dress I'm going to show you is more, to be honest, I don't know. Maybe I would wear this. I was really on the fence with showing this to you guys because I feel like this is the kind of traditional wedding guest dress, bridesmaid-y dress. It's beautiful, don't get me wrong. I actually love this rich blue color and I love the asymmetry. I do think this dress would be flattering because of all of the ruching, but it could wade into territory of maybe feeling too revealing again and like showing too many lumps and bumps, but it totally just depends on your level of comfort. Again, this is like a whole viscose dress, but I think the reason I was hesitant to show it to you all is like with all of these dresses, it's hard to play in that box of being like appropriate and conservative, but still be interesting. So I really did try to find dresses that I think would be like fun to wear and that you would feel sexy in. And I don't know why, just something about this dress isn't necessarily reading that fun to me, but I do think it's a good option. So wanted to share it. This next one, I again, totally depends on the fabric and how thick it is. If it's flattering or not, you might totally need to wear Spanx with this. It also looks like a nightmare to wear with a bra. You probably have to wear like little stick-ons or something, but I had to share it because this is so beautiful. This would be such a great bridesmaid's dress, but also a great wedding guest dress. It comes in so many stunning colors and sizes. I personally love it in this gorgeous graphite color. It comes in a beautiful like sage green. That's why I think it'd be so great for a bridesmaid's dress because it comes in gold. This was actually a dress I considered for one of my sisters at some point. There's a beautiful powder, multiple blue colors that are so gorgeous, but I just love the elegant asymmetry. I love the simplicity of it. I think it's really, really pretty, and it's $320. These all are from this like little Laloon line that they have. This next dress is very similar to the Reformation one that I showed you, but I think this like makes me sad that I can't look good in strapless, but I love this column dress. I also called this one out in my wedding dress video because they have a ivory version of this that is absolutely stunning, but this forest green color, oh, it's so beautiful. I love it. Again, it'd be great for spring or for summer. And I love that it's not tight on the body, but that you have that really kind of elegant satin material. I just think this looks like so chic and minimal, but comfortable. I love this dress. This is probably one of my favorite dresses, honestly. And then kind of similar to the last two, this is similar price point, $320. And again, I just love this forest color and this graphite color. I love the high neck on this. This one I think is actually more realistic if you have a bigger bust because it looks like you could get away with wearing a real bra with this, which is nice. Probably would need to wear some Spanx. It's a little more form-fitting, but I do think it's quite elegant looking, so I did want to call it out as well. But yeah, I just adore this like funky forest green color. It's so nice. And then the final dress is pretty simple. Again, I was a little on the fence if I wanted to share this with you all or not, but if you have like a more casual wedding, I do think this asymmetric shape is quite flattering, especially if you have more of an hourglass figure or like a bigger bust line. You could get away with wearing like a one shoulder kind of bra with it. But again, I love this army green color. I think it's very pretty. I love the little slit on the side. The fabric looks nice and thick. I think it would be, oh yeah, okay. It's 100% cotton. So that's great. So if you have like a little summer wedding to go to or something, I do think this is a nice option as well. Again, none of these designs are like revolutionary, I will say, between Reformation and with Shona Joy. I will say the next two brands are probably my favorite in the sense that they have that lower price point. They play more in the like $400 to $500 range, but I do think you will start to see the designs getting a little more interesting. So if you're just looking for like a minimal, just like elegant dress, I think the other two brands, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, are great. I think these next one is when you really start to see the design start to get interesting. So this next brand is called A.L.C, and I talked about them in a whole dedicated video because I never tried anything from them, and I really, really like this brand. I think they make very high quality clothes, but with very interesting design. And to be honest, if I personally had a wedding to go to, I would probably be purchasing one of these dresses because I think they are super versatile. I think they look very classy, but they could also be worn to like different things. So yeah, I don't know. So the first dress is this Piper satin dress in that navy color. You can see that I have a fave. I love the asymmetry. I love that this one has like that 3/4 length sleeve because again, like no one really needs to see this part of my arm. There's nothing flattering about it, but I think it's quite feminine to show off. I know it's because my shirt's like that right now, but I think it's quite feminine to show off at least this part. I love that it's kind of a midi dress. I absolutely love the draping on this. I think it's very romantic, but still modern. And that's like kind of the ethos of this brand, which is why I love them. But I love that it's got that formality with the satin fabric, but that it's draped so beautifully that I don't feel like I would need to wear Spanx or anything because I wouldn't worry too much about things showing in this dress. It also comes in a green kind of citrusy color, so if you like that color more, there you go. But I think the navy is very regal. This dress is $695 and it's 100% viscose. Very elegant. I also like a dress like this because the dress is a little more understated, but you could wear it with really beautiful shoes and like a really beautiful clutch bag. And I think in these situations, it's kind of nice for the dress to not be the most memorable thing, especially if you're going to be wearing it multiple times and taking multiple photos with it. You can like switch up the shoes in the clutch bag, but then wear the same dress and just give it a whole new look. So I appreciate that about it. And then in kind of similar vibes, but this one's slightly different. I still think very flattering. I love the high neck. I love how the sleeves kind of fall. And it's in this really beautiful kind of aged bronze color. So I love that it's a neutral, but it's not too gold because gold gets a little bit close to white, which then goes down the slippery slope. So I think this dress is really, really pretty. Again, I love the ruching and the gathering. I wouldn't worry about it being that close to like my stomach or my ribs or anything. And this dress is $595 and it's also 100% viscose. Very similarly, you will notice what I'm a fan of. This is the penny satin maxi dress in the same kind of gorgeous, they call it mocha, but it looks very similar to that bronze color that I just showed you. I love the romantic draping on the top of this. I love the draping kind of covering the stomach. Again, you can tell that this is designed by a woman who understands the female body and what is flattering. And I think this is very chic without going like too Grecian, you know? I think it sometimes could look a little bit too costumey, but I think it's gorgeous. This one also comes in a ganache, like kind of a burgundy. Ooh, it has little embellishments on it. Interesting. This one's on sale right now for $320. Very pretty. And then it comes in like a light blue, but again, I prefer kind of the darker colors, especially with like sweat and stuff. I feel like it just looks better when it's darker. I don't know. I just think there's like a richness to it, and then you don't have to worry about being tan. Adds like a nice contrast. And then the final dress from A.L.C. Again, very similar to the Reformation ones, except for, again, I love how they ruche the dress across the stomach so that it's not clinging to your body in the wrong places. I just think these are just a little more thoughtfully designed and a little bit classier looking. This one is $695, so definitely on the highest price point. It's still 100% viscose, and it's that gorgeous, they call it a dark sapphire, but it's that gorgeous, gorgeous navy blue color. So honestly, I would probably buy any of these. I do love the first one with the sleeves. I'd probably go for the first one or the penny satin maxi dress personally, but I think these are all really, really great options, and I love A.L.C. I've also in my A.L.C video, I try on like a satin dress from them, like a satin shirt dress in black, and it confirms everything I want it to be. Like, doesn't cling to the body awkwardly, is very flattering, but like crazy, crazy comfortable. So I know these all of these dresses would be so, so, so great. And the next brand that I actually purchased a lot of dresses from for my siblings to wear for my wedding, because I love, love, love her styles. I love that her dresses are very flattering on the form. I love that she has a lot of different types of silhouettes. I love that, yeah, all the dresses come in like a lot of different colors. I think Staud is such a great resource for wedding guest dresses or bridesmaids dresses even. All the Staud dresses that I picked out for my siblings were, because I asked all of my guests to wear neutral colors. So a lot of these, like for example, let me just jump right in. The first dress is called the Fair Silk dress in navy, and it's $695. This was actually the dress that my oldest sister wore, but she wore kind of an ivory color and it was cotton. But I think the fit of this dress is very, very flattering. She has more of an hourglass figure than I do. So it was really nice to kind of have like the support on top, but then to come in the waist, but then to come out a little bit. So really loved this dress for her. And I love this dress in this beautiful navy color. So I'm glad that they brought it back out in another fabric as well as more colors, because I think it's a really, really stunning, again, gorgeous kind of asymmetry. You're seeing a lot of themes, a lot of similar designs, but I think this is great. And then this is kind of a fun one, a little wild card. So again, I'm not the biggest pink person because I think it really like wedges you, especially this color of pink wedges you into spring, summer. But if they were fine with that, I love this like long skirt top combination. I think this would be so comfortable and like cheeky and modern and like still really appropriate for a wedding. This is the Cassia silk top in carnation on top. That's $375. And then on the bottom, it is the Vincenzo silk skirt for $695. And again, the fun thing about a two-piece like this is you can break it up and wear it later. So if you were going to like a semi-formal event, you could just wear the skirt, and the top you could pretty much just wear all the time. So I really love that. The skirt is $695. And I will say Staud does have a lot of sales. I got my sister's dresses for 50 or 60% off during the kind of end of season sales. So depending on when your wedding is or when you're attending a wedding, keep an eye out for that, because then you can get some really, really incredible deals. But I think this is very cool. I love this gorgeous, it's 100% silk, this fabric, but it's almost kind of like a taffeta looking fabric. I love the kind of shininess of it. In fact, my middle sister wore a similar type fabric. It was like a tan and kind of shiny like that. And I thought it was really, really pretty. And then I love the dark chocolate color of this dress. It is strapless. I love the two different fabrics though. I love that the top is very simple and then the bottom is that silk. But again, women designing for women, I love that they've covered the stomach with the ruching. So I actually think this would be quite comfortable to wear and very chic. I love the chocolate brown, very in season. They do make it in black, but I think the brown would probably be more appropriate for a wedding. This is the Wayfaring dress, and it is $495. And then another kind of cool modern column dress. Again, this will kind of depend on the type of wedding. I would not advise wearing this to like a day wedding because then you will be blinding everyone in the reflections of the sequins. But I do think this is really fun for like a New Year's wedding or like a nighttime wedding. They have it in a bunch of great colors. They have it in a gorgeous green, a blue. Again, I love the brown, but I just thought the sequins and kind of the like column shape of this was very cool and very pretty. So I wanted to call it out, even though this would look terrible on me. This is the Casey dress and it is $595. So again, if you want to have a little fun and like be a little more playful, like you can totally wear a sequin depending on, you know, the formality and the situation of a wedding, you know, you assess. And then the final dress from Staud is the Andrea dark dress in dark chocolate. They also made it in red, but again, I'm not a big fan of wearing red to weddings, but I love this chocolate color. I love the organicness of this dress and the off-the-shoulderness. It is polyester, unfortunately. In fact, that was the only feedback from my middle sister. She was like, how could you put me in polyester for your weddings? It was like 85 degrees that day and she was like sweating so much. But you get this gorgeous sheen and this like structure to the dress, and I love the midi length. I just think it's very flattering and very elegant. And none of this surprises me because Sarah Staudinger, who started this brand, actually used to work for Reformation. So it makes sense that she would kind of have a similar, you know, design ethos that she would bring to her own brand. But I just think these are all really great, relatively like well-priced options. I'm not gonna lie, at the end of this, I'm ready to like never think about wedding anything ever again. Like, oh my gosh, but it's okay. We're gonna leave the most fun ones for the last. So these are what I would call the like don't have a budget dresses. So the budget is really all over the place with these dresses. But Net-a-Porter is one of my favorite places in general to just buy things from. But I had such a good time going through their wedding edit and picking out the dresses that I thought kind of fit all the criteria that we've been talking about through all of this video. So I've kind of grouped it with certain brands, but for most of them, it's like one or two pieces from different brands. But I will start with this dress, which I think is really pretty, from Solace London. So Solace London is actually a brand that I became familiar with years and years and years ago through Rent the One Way. Rent the One Way. As in, you know, you've been filming a long time as you stop being able to talk. But yeah, I became familiar with this brand through Rent the Runway. I rented a lot of their dresses and I really appreciate how they're feminine, but like minimal and modern. They're a British brand. I really love this dress. It's called the Sabina Off the Shoulder Stretch Crepe Maxi Dress. I love this weird purple color. It's very seasonless. Like, again, you could wear it winter, you could wear it spring. I love that it has this like funky belt with no hardware on it. And I love this gentle kind of off the shoulder, but then you have the arms covered. I just think this is a weird dress that I've never seen anything like it before. And I think it kind of straddles that like modern but classic world really well. And it's actually, Solace London is fairly decently priced. It is $630. Another dress that I really liked from Solace London, ironically, is also a purple color, but this is more of like a deep eggplant purple, which is a little less seasonless. You could still totally wear this in spring and summer, but it is a one shoulder full coverage cape dress that then goes to the floor. I think this is really flattering, very chic. This is a dress that is $755. It is 100% polyester, but hopefully that means it's very thick and flattering. Oh, it also comes in white, so brides could wear this as well. That's nice. And then, ooh, in similar kind of vibes, a little more feminine, a little more traditional than the one that we saw from Solace London. This is from the brand Sophia. And I just think this dress is so elegant. I love the burgundy color, although again, I think this would probably be more appropriate for a fall winter wedding, but I love the little modernity and kind of feminine flirtiness of this little sweetheart neckline. That's very unique. I love the belt and the skirt, and I love the differences in the fabric that are shown here. It's crazy to me though that it's 92% polyester. Polyester, again, I can't talk. 92% polyester, 8% elastane, because the dress is $2,300. So definitely on the pricier side of things. So while we're playing in that space, again, I'm not much of a yellow person, but I thought this dress from Stella McCartney was gorgeous. This dress is $3,100 and it is an open back cape effect draped satin gown. I think this cape is absolutely stunning. It looks so modern, but I love that you have the little peak of the back, so very sexy. Oh, I just think this is really pretty. It is 73% acetate, 27% viscose. Really would be beautiful for like a spring, summer wedding. And then this one might be my favorite, which is hilarious to me because it is a strapless dress, so Lord knows how it would look on me. But I mentioned the brand Alex Perry in my favorite kind of minimal wedding dress-esque designers. This dress in this forest green color, Very high price point again, $2,200, but how stunning is this dress? It's got his like signature corset, but I love that it's not a corset. It's got the like his signature kind of spiky bits on the front, and I love the draping that covers the stomach, so you would feel really confident in this. I love the midi length of the skirt. It looks, this outfit with like the green clutch and the black pumps, like this is so va-va-voom, sexy, classy, confident. Like this is gorgeous. This is definitely one of my favorite dresses from the bunch. I think this is so pretty. Love Alex Perry. And then I talked about this brand in, again, my last video, but Roxanda. If you want more coverage, they do really beautiful dresses with a lot of draping and capes and stuff. This one is in bright pink, which again, I'm like, ooh, about the color, but considering there's so much fabric, I guess it's nice to play with color. And the bright pink is seasonless in a sense. Like I think you could be fine wearing a really rich color like this in the fall and the winter as well. I will say the only downside for something like this is that if you're really petite, it can be quite overwhelming to your frame. So just like keep in mind your body type. But if you're wanting more full coverage and you're on the longer lean or kind of tomboy-esque side of things, this is a really nice option, and it's $2,150. Now, I take it back actually. I love these dresses from Bernadette as well, which really might surprise some of you, but I think there is something really fun about playing with like romance and shape. And you guys know I love an architectural dress, okay? So I had a really good time with this, and you all know that I'm also like a huge sucker for green, although they also make this dress in black. But again, I think the green is really pretty for a wedding, and it's got this gorgeous one shoulder giant bow. So it's not like super fitted, which I think is nice. It looks really comfortable, but I love that it just has this like fun feminine giant bow, and it is $1,000. So actually significantly less than a lot of the dresses that we've been looking at. I think Bernadette is also a British brand. I just think this is so much fun though. Very feminine, very cute. It's kind of fun because it's a little bit different from what I would normally go for. Similar vibes. This one's also very feminine. Very like fairy princess, but like so comfortable looking. Like I'm obsessed with how comfortable this looks. And I love a little dainty kind of off the shoulder. I love the feminine kind of princess like puff to it. Again, I love the dark green. Also comes in an ivory, so this could be a really great wedding dress if you're wanting, you know, something that's not as form-fitting. I just think this is so cute. Again, this might swallow up a more petite frame because there's so much volume, but I think it's really cute. It is 78% polyester, but this one's $1,000 and $1,015. Good thing we're almost done with this video. I'm starting to malfunction. And then the final Bernadette gown. Again, I love. If green is not your thing, this one is blue. It's got kind of a similar bow, but not quite as over the top as the original bow, but I love the asymmetry. I love that it's not tight on the body, and I just think this is really pretty and fun and feminine. And this is what I mean by like being comfortable but still looking classy. Like, oh, I just adore this dress, and it is $985. And then the final two dresses are by a brand that I also talked about in my wedding dress video. This is Taller Marmo. Again, such a great brand if you want a little more oversized, less feminine than Bernadette, who also really, if you want more coverage, you want more oversized, great brand for that. But this gives you more coverage, but they're a little more modern, kind of almost new age, I guess, for lack of a better term. But they do a lot with caftan silhouettes. They do a lot with capes, kind of similar to Roxanda. Sucker for green, if you couldn't tell. This is a really beautiful emerald color, so probably a little bit more appropriate for like spring, summer. It is $1,635, but I just think it's really beautiful. Unfortunately, yeah, it is 100% polyester. Ugh. I just love the cape detailing. And I also love that they give you the fitted sleeve on the other side so that you can appreciate the body a little bit, but I think this is great. This could be a really great mother of the bride dress. Again, if your mom isn't like too petite, having a more full coverage item like this is great. And I know a lot of moms like that. This one, see, I stole the term new age. This next one is also green. Love it. They call it emerald, but it's a lot darker than the last one, so we'll just call it green. This is the New Age Spirito satin trimmed silk chiffon gown. This is more of what they're known for, this like caftan, gorgeous draping, little bit of sheerness. So you probably need to wear some kind of slip dress underneath, but I think very, very elegant, would be so incredibly comfortable with like a gorgeous clutch and a pair of heels. So yeah, I did just want to, maybe it comes with a slip dress underneath. I think it does. Yeah, it does. It's lined. Well, that is nice. And this one is 100% silk, which is great. So a wonderful piece to end on. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed all of these picks and this inspiration, and that, yeah, let me know if you end up getting any of them, or if you have a brand that you really love to go to for wedding guest dresses that kind of align with this sort of aesthetic. Cause yeah, I think we'd all love to know. I know there's so many incredible brands out there. I'm always trying to find new ones. So let us know in the comments below, and I will see you all in my next video.